studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I deliver it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today, as we do every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Not sure if you caught some of our celebrations yesterday. It was a tremendous celebration day yesterday. But today we move along. And we do celebrate, no, not the day after Veterans Day. That's not a real celebration. Today is National Chicken Soup for the Soul Day. That was a pretty good book. Did you read it? How about National Pizza with the Works Except Anchovies Day? I don't know about that one. And National French Dip Day. I don't know about that one either. So we'll just French dip. But, we can do that. I think the French dip might be where we go. Well, although I am a pizza lover, so I don't know. It's a toss up. Tell me what your favorites are. Go ahead and put it in the chat right now. You can tell me, which do you prefer? Would you go with the French dip day, or would you go with the National Pizza with the Works Except Anchovies Day? Let us know your opinions. Maybe we'll share a couple of them right there on the screen as they pop up. Let's check out and see what the markets are doing today. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 21 points. It's been a little bit of a rocky day there. Now it's up 27 points. S&P 500 up 10. We did finally jump above that 3,100 on the S&Ps ever so briefly earlier today. Oil, 56.77 a barrel, down 9 cents per barrel of oil. Taxofornia, we're holding. I think we're down a penny from yesterday. 4.033 here in Taxofornia, 261.1 for the national average. And right here in the oil-producing state of Hawaii, 366. And we're looking at Louisiana, $2.22 is the price in Louisiana. So we are still getting the proverbial shaft when it comes to the gasoline prices here in Taxofornia. We understand it. We know that we've got a governor that loves to tax. We're watching all of these different numbers going through because I saw San Francisco did go a little bit more liberal in their last election. I'm not sure that was possible, but they did. Unbelievable. They not like the city isn't doing poor enough as it is. So they need to bring in some more folks to see if they can get us a little bit more, maybe they need more hypodermic needles in San Francisco. They might be running a little bit low there. We'll check that out. We'll keep watching that for you. Let's see what else we've got going on. The 10-year Treasury down a little bit, not enough to talk about, 1.926. Mortgage-backed securities, they're up a little bit. Again, not enough to talk about. Let's go to the morning briefing, see what we're going to see there in the morning briefing. A lot going on in the world right now. How about this one? Now, this is not going to be a very, very big surprise. The whistleblower back in the news again. Yeah, not probably the way he wanted to be. Now, we've already named him right here on Ron Siegel Radio. I don't have his name in front of me, Eric, something or another. But guess what? Apparently, he was doing all of this for the money. Yeah, that's does that surprise anybody?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Sure does not surprise Gomer, but apparently he's now been caught collecting $250,000 in fundraising from the whistleblowing complaint. Now, is that what we really expect from the whistleblower, is that he's doing this all for the money? Well, after he met with Adam Schiff, does that surprise anybody? Certainly does not surprise me, does not surprise our Ron Siegel Radio team. We've been talking about this right along. Does anybody really care about this stuff? I'm watching it and seeing, I know that tomorrow we're going to see the complaints coming across. We're going to see what's going on. But it just baffles me how the news, the media here, especially in California, Taxofornia, Calizuela, whatever you want to refer to it, we continue to see the same type of things and nothing changes. They don't realize that they're being duped by the lack of Intelligence Committee Chairman Alan Schiff, constantly being duped right there. So just baffles me that we continue to go. I think I understand the problem with Adam Schiff. Yeah, I think he's had one too many, but maybe that's his choice. That's where he decides to do things. Why do so many people follow him? Why are so many people paying any attention to what he has to say? Moving right along in the news. Let's see. The Republicans, they're planning on protecting the president. There's no question about that. There was no surprise there. Showdown over Trump's bid to end Obama's Dreamer program goes before the Supreme Court. Be fascinating to watch this one. I hope they rule on two different issues. So this is a long-running battle over the Trump administration's bid to end the Obama-era program for young, undocumented immigrants known as Dreamers, going to the Supreme Court today with a ruling expected in the midst of the presidential election year. The case puts the High Court at the center of one of the most politically charged issues since the start of the Trump administration. For the administration and Dreamers alike, it all comes down to the Supreme Court, where President Trump picked Brett Kavanaugh and Neil Gorsuch now sit. Federal appeals courts across the country have rejected efforts to phase out the Obama-era program known as Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA. But the administration has looked to the High Court for support. Two issues. Number one is the DACA issue itself. Number two is, does one president have the ability or the right to change the executive orders of a prior president? So they're not necessarily the same issues. DACA is one issue. Now, we know it's all that DACA really is a political movement on both sides, right? Because the Republicans have already offered a solution to DACA. The Democrats didn't like it. See what goes on there. So they didn't want to save that. They wanted to stay in the news. Moving right along, Daily Briefing. Jimmy Carter hospitalized for a procedure to reduce pressure on his brain after some recent falls. The former president has been hospitalized. They had to go in and open up his skull, remove some of that pressure. Wish him certainly nothing but the best. What else do we have in the briefing today? President is expected to delay auto tariffs for more than 6 months. That would be on British cars. You can still go out and buy that new British car for the holidays. Won't be a problem. Boeing is in the news. They're expected to resume 737 MAX deliveries in December and commercial service green light in January. So they're looking at getting those planes back up in the air. Do you want to be one of the first people on that plane? I'm going to suggest that's probably not something that would excite me too much. Google in the news. Google has signed its biggest cloud computing customer in healthcare to date in a deal giving it access to data sets that could help it tune potentially lucrative artificial intelligence tools. Do you want Google to know all about your health issues? Can we Google that? Just throw that out there for you to see what your opinion is. Looks like that's about the news that we've got for you this morning in the briefing. We're going to continue this broadcast today We're going to talk to you a little bit. We got a lot to share with you. Our stock chart of the day, I showed that at the opening this morning. Stock chart of the day, if we can bring that up once again, please. That would have been, what did we actually, the home rents, I think is what we did. We show this one on a regular basis just because rents are a big issue. We talk all the time about buying a house, but take a look at the median rent since 1988. We're going to put a chart up right now for you. Median asking rent, not a pretty picture. That's why we highly recommend your thought of buying a new home. And the homeownership rate remains on the rise. We'll talk about that. 7 reasons your credit score is not coming down. We might actually have time to get to that today. 5 steps for fixing credit and improving your score. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you?
Local and national expert, Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it to you every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star has the programs, the products. You need to make the call. 800-306-1990. Yes, you don't need to have income if you've got a bank account, if you've got a business of your own. All of those things take care of that for you. So call. Don't try to make an assumption that you know the lending guidelines. We get updates at the team probably 2 or 3 times a day with different updates on lending guidelines. So be very, very careful of what you're thinking you know, or what your cousin, family, next door neighbor thinks that the market is doing, because it is changing on a regular basis. And now the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 18 points, 18.65, S&P 500 up 793. We told you that those numbers have been jumping around a lot today. Let's look and see the 10-year Treasury. That one's still down 1 basis point, 1.92 is the yield on that 10-year Treasury. Not a whole lot of changes there. Markets are really been quite flat lately. They haven't been doing a whole heck of a lot. And let's look and see what is the cause of what's going on in the markets. Obviously, today the biggie is that President Trump just began some speaking, and we'll see what that does for the markets. He's at the Economic Club of New York. A lot of speculation about what he might say. Will he discuss the trade relations with China or Europe? Based on how much the markets have reacted to any news regarding trade, even though it may not be substantive, we have to keep an eye on it. CoreLogic released their loan performance report for the month of August, showing that loans 30 days or more past due decreased from 3.8% to 3.7%, while seriously delinquent loans, which is defined as 90 days or more, remained unchanged at 1.3%. Seriously delinquent homes in foreclosure also unchanged, 0.4%. Frank Martell, the president and CEO of CoreLogic, said that delinquency rates are at 14-year lows, reflecting a decade of tight underwriting standards, the benefits of prolonged low interest rates, and the improved balance sheets of many households across the country, unquote. National Federation of Independent Businesses released their optimism index for October, showing that optimism levels among small businesses increased from 101.8 to 102.4 and was better than estimates of 102. Within the report, 30% of companies reported negative effects from trade policies, something that may get better in the U.S. and if the U.S. and China roll back tariffs. One of the biggest problems continues to be finding qualified workers. As a result, firms are likely to continue to offer improved compensation to attract workers. This is something that can drive up labor costs and cut into corporate profits. Mortgage bonds are in the middle of a very wide range between support of 100.563 and a ceiling of resistance at the 100-day moving average of 101.223. When bonds are in such a wide range, they are susceptible to big price swings and whipsaws. The 10-year is battling a ceiling of resistance at 1.923. If yields break above this ceiling, they have room to run all the way up to 2.06. Hopefully this level will hold and yields can make their way back down towards the next floor at 1.8. A lot will likely depend on the president's speech, so we are watching that extremely carefully today. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. Again, when you're ready for that next mortgage, give us a call. Don't try and speculate on what the markets are going to do for you. We watch them on a regular basis. It may not matter. It may not matter. There might be something that is out there in the market that fits you better than what you might be thinking of. And if you're just going with the basics, there are a lot of programs out there that most people have no idea about. So we want to make sure that you're giving a call to the team at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, to make sure that you are getting the best program for your situation. I'm going to suggest to you, if you're getting your program or your information from just a basic commercial, understand that radio commercials are there for one thing and one thing only. Yes, we do them. They're to get you to make a phone call, right? So the idea is, let's get you on the phone. Let's chat about what's going on in your situation, and let's see if it makes sense for your scenario. Because the phone, the item that you call about is generally not going to be something that fits most people. I'm just going to throw that out there. If you listen to a commercial, it doesn't matter what station you're listening to. The calls that you're going to make based on what you hear on that commercial, it's probably not going to be something that fits your scenario. I'll tell you exactly why. So frequently I hear people say, what's today's best fixed rate loan? And most people are thinking in terms of a 30-year fixed rate loan. That's just the number that's what's in their mind, because they don't think about all the other programs that are out there. And I'll frequently come back and say, probably 2.5 to 2 3/4 probably the best fixed rate that I can find for somebody right now. And they're very excited about that. They're very interested in that. And then I ask them, are you sure that's what you really want? Yeah, I love that rate. How do I apply? How do I get it? Well, you can go to the website, sltloanapp.com, and it's very simple. Take you 5 to 10 minutes to fill out the loan application online. But are you sure that's the right program for you? Oh, yeah, Ron, I know that's exactly what I want. I'll go fill that out right now. Okay. And you have a conversation with somebody, and they seem to be surprised. I say, well, you said that's exactly what you wanted. It's a 10-year fixed rate loan with 3 points. Now, on a $500,000 loan, that's $15,000. Are you still sure that's what you want? Okay, so maybe you can use some of your equity to get that debt, to buy that down. And that's not a problem. We have people do that all the time, is they'll use equity to buy down their interest rate. Now, if they're understanding the marketplace, if they're understanding what we're telling them, I'm going to suggest that that's not a good idea, especially right now. I am not telling anybody at all right now to go and buy down interest rates. Why? Well, the idea right now, when do you buy down an interest rate? You're buying down interest rates when you're looking to, when you expect that interest is going to be up or go up for an extended period of time. I'm going to tell you right now, I do not believe interest rates are going to go up for an extended period of time. But what if I'm wrong? So that's the reason why we're telling people, take action today, but don't worry about whether we're right or wrong, because what we want you to do is don't take the exact best program for you. Take what makes sense for you on a given day. And then what I want you to do is I want to see if you can go and be in position to refinance again in 12 months. Why would that be good for you? Yes, I get it that it's self-serving. Some people say, well, Ron, you're just trying to sell multiple loans. Well, no, what I really do, because we do a lot of loan business as it is. So our focus is not the idea of selling a lot of loans. We want to get the right loan for the right person. Now, if you increase your interest rate today just a little bit, then if we call you and we pay all your fees, so there's no fees at all, then take a look at that and say, okay, well, will it bother you if interest rates go down again? Well, no, you didn't pay for anything, so you don't have a break-even time to wait for on the current loan. So if you're not waiting for anything, it won't bother you to do another loan down the road, right? Does that make sense? So we say that part of it. Then the other part of it is let's look and see where the process gets to you, for you in where the process might be to redo that again. So here's the issue. If interest rates go up, you're protected because you got into a loan. Yeah, maybe it's an eighth more than it should have been. Maybe it's a quarter more than it should have been. But if interest rates go down, you don't mind doing it again to save your family more money. That's the reason that we talk about these issues just this way. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, homeownership rate remains on the rise. 7 reasons your credit score is not approving, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990 or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or simply call 800-306-1990.
Are you
You're
earning a
listening to
safe,
Ron.
secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of
visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message. And and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. If you already found that dream home, good for you. Text SLT Home Digest to find out what the market knows about your property and what the county recorder shows about your property. Again, text SLT Home Digest, 79564. Get those reports totally free. Homeownership rate remains on the rise. In the third quarter of 2019, the U.S. homeownership rate rose again, signaling another strong indicator of the current housing market. The U.S. Census Bureau announced, quote, the homeownership rate of 64.8% was not statistically different from the rate in the third quarter 2018, but was 0.7 percentage points higher than the rate in the second quarter 2019. Got a chart right there on the screen. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, Facebook, we've got it right there for you. Homeownership rates since the fourth quarter of 2018. Now we're in the third quarter of 19 is the last data that we have. 64.8%. Today there is a lack of inventory, particularly at the entry and middle level segments of the market, but that is not stopping buyers from making every effort to pursue home ownership. The many financial and non-financial benefits continue to drive the American dream and will likely do so for generations to come. If you're thinking about buying a new home, give us a call at 800-306-1990. We would be very happy to talk to you, see if we can set a game plan for you that makes sense for you and for your family to get into that new home at any time as soon as you are ready. That is the real-time real estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. Reasons your credit score is not improving. Your credit score is a critical factor in whether you can obtain a home loan or a new credit card, or in some cases, open a bank account or find affordable car insurance. Making payments in a timely manner and otherwise handling debt in a responsible way typically drives your credit score up. Making late payments can impact your credit score for the worse. But sometimes credit scores remain the same or even drop, and you don't know why or how to fix the issue. One of these 7 factors may be at play. Take some type of action to mitigate each. Number 1, you're using too much of your available credit. When you have revolving credit accounts, such as lines of credit or credit cards, lenders want to see that you handle them responsibly and don't seem to rely too heavily on credit to meet day-to-day obligations. High utilization of credit, which just means you're currently using a large amount of the credit available to you, makes you seem like a risk. It can lower your credit score. In fact, credit utilization accounts for 30% of your score. To keep that in perspective, payment history, whether you pay your bills on time, accounts for 35%. These two factors together have the majority impact on your score, so you need to pay attention to both. Put it together, 65% comes from utilization and whether you pay your bills on time. Using 30% or more of your available credit at a given time puts you in a high utilization territory. Consider the following example. Credit card A has a limit of $5,000, a balance of $3,000. B has a limit of $1,000 and a balance of 0. C has a limit of $900, a balance of $800. Total credit available, $6,900. Total credit used, $3,800. Credit utilization, 55%. Even if you have one card without a balance at all in this scenario, your total credit utilization is high and may negatively impact your credit score. Using around 10% of less of your available credit is ideal. In the example I gave, that would mean running balances of 500, 10, or 10 and 90 on each of those cards. Remember, that does not mean you can't use your credit cards. Your balance aren't reported in real time to the credit reporting agencies. What it means is that you should pay down your credit cards and avoid carrying over high balances month to month. So pay that bill before the statement comes out. Go online, figure it out, and pay it down before the statement comes out. Number 2, your credit history includes a negative item. If everything is ideal with your finances at the moment, a lower stagnant credit score could be due to a major negative factor in your credit history. Foreclosures, defaults, bankruptcies drive your credit score down and remain on your record for years. The good news is that most of these negative items will fall off your report after a maximum number of years, often 7. In the meantime, keep making timely payments and managing money in a positive way, and eventually you're left with a strong financial situation likely to create a higher credit score quickly. In the meantime, you can receive financial and legal advice to repair your credit by calling our friends at creditsanitizer.com, Jeff Sipes and the Blue Water Credit Team. Number 3, your credit history is not diversified enough. Credit mix, or whether or not you have multiple types of credit on your report, makes up another 10% of your credit report. Types of credit include installment accounts such as car loans, home mortgages, student loans, personal loans. Revolving accounts, including all types of credit cards, home equity lines of credit, and gas cards. Open accounts, such as those with utility and natural gas companies. Even if the accounts on your credit report are closed or no longer in use, they still count toward whether your credit history is diversified. If you only accounts on your credit report are revolving accounts, for example, your credit history is not diversified, your score may suffer as a result. Number 4, you have a trigger finger for credit apps. Inquiries can hit your credit report for 2 reasons. Hard inquiries are those backed by a credit app or other consent from you that intimates that you're looking for credit. In short, the entity pulling your credit report is doing so for the purpose of evaluating you for a loan or account. Soft inquiries, simple pulls on your credit report for info-seeking purposes. They might be related to pre-qualified credit offers, existing lenders reviewing your account, or you, employers or insurance companies, checking your credit history. Hard inquiries can impact your credit score, especially if you accrue too many of them in a short amount of time. Each hard inquiry that comes from a different entity can drop your score by 5 to 10 points. That means if you shop around trying to get someone to approve you for a loan or find the best deal on a car, you could be driving your score lower and your potential APR higher with each credit app. To help mitigate this challenge to your credit report, hold off on applications for a while, especially if you plan to work with a broker soon to get a home loan. Number 5, you recently closed an account. A long history of responsible money management is good for your credit score, and the age of your credit report does play a role. For example, if you're 30 years old and you've had a credit card with a small credit limit since you were in college, that credit card has a history that is a decade old. Even if you aren't using it and you now have better cards in your wallet, you want to keep that open simply for its age. This is especially true if all other accounts are new. Use it once in a while. Buy a cup of coffee, buy a tank of gas, whatever. Keep it active and keep it current, keep it going. Credit utilization can come into play to reduce your credit score when you close an account. So here's an example. You have 2 credit cards. One has a balance of $700, a limit of $4,000. The other has a balance of $500 and a limit of $1,000. That means you have a total balance, $1,200, total credit limit of $5,000. Your credit utilization is 24%, which is below the 30% territory that is considered high. To simplify your bookkeeping, or because the larger card has a better interest rate, you transfer the $500 to the larger card, close the card with the $1,000 balance. You still have a balance of $1,200, but your credit limit is only $4,000. Suddenly, your utilization is 30%. Instead, in such a situation, you might want to move the balance to the card with the lower interest rate so you can pay it off faster, but avoid closing the other card. Put it in a drawer. Don't use it regularly, but let it remain open to maintain a higher credit limit and a lower credit utilization ratio. Remember, if a credit card goes unused for an extended period of time, the creditor may close the account. So do take those cards out for an occasional purchase that you already planned. That's why I say on the cards, maybe use your cell phone bill on one card, maybe pay your electric bill on another card, maybe your gas bill, maybe your cable or internet. Do 4 different cards, 4 different bills that you're going to regularly pay every month anyway. Put them on the card, pay them off every month before the statement closing date. Number 6, your credit report has errors. One easy step to fix your credit is simply ensuring there are not any errors on your credit report. If you make your car payment religiously, but it's reported late on your credit report, the bank may have made an administrative error. Contact them for assistance and report the error to all 3 major credit bureaus. Do not overlook other types of errors that are not related to payment history. A decimal in the wrong place can change the entire story about how much debt you owe. A misspelled name or incorrect social security number can cause other people's debts or credit histories to show up on your record. Ensuring small errors and typos don't impact your score is one reason you should monitor it regularly and consider working with a professional to initiate credit disputes. I've told you that before. Again, creditsanitizer.com. Obviously, if you're the victim of identity theft, that will have a negative impact on your credit score. That's another reason why we highly recommend monitoring your credit on a regular basis. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, 5 steps for fixing credit. We've talked about some of these issues in the past. We'll talk about this one for you today. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has the solutions. I have been looking at credit reports for many decades, more than I care to share. I've yet to see a credit report that is completely accurate. Even if you've been working on it, there's still errors. Jeff Sipes and the Blue Water Credit Team, they help the listeners of Ron Siegel Radio on a regular basis deal with credit repair and correcting the credit reports. Here are some steps for fixing credit once and for all. The average FICO score in the U.S. as of April 2018 was 704, which is a good score. Comparatively, the average Vantage 3.0 score in 2017 was 675. Remember, Vantage and FICO are not the same. Even though average credit scores are in the good or almost good range, they vary by age, state, and other factors. So there are still plenty of us with lower than desired scores and plenty of room for fixing credit issues. While fixing credit doesn't happen overnight, there are steps we can take right now to get the process started. The steps to fixing your credit and credit scores include getting a sense of your finances, looking for any errors and pinpointing problem areas that you need to address, such as overspending. When you break it down, the 5 steps to fixing credit issues are: 1, know your credit score and get copies of your credit report. Number 2, fix any errors on your credit report. Number 3, maintain healthy credit accounts and start building a positive credit history to help reach credit goals. Number 4, control your credit utilization and lower high utilization if needed. Number 5, keep an eye on the average age of your credit. It won't be super easy, and it won't be as fun as using your credit, but the relief you'll feel when you take care of your new credit, it'll be well worth your time. So getting copies of your credit report, that's the first thing. I am a big believer, myfico.com, myfico.com. You can get your Vantage score for free on credit.com or FICO score for just $1 once you enroll. I'm not a big fan of the Vantage squeeze. They think they understand what their credit score is, but I call it a FACO score because it fakes people into thinking that it's a FICO score. It is not. Your credit score is separate from your credit reports. Your reports don't include scores, but thanks to Fair Credit Reporting Act, you can get free copies of your credit reports from the 3 main credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion once a year. You can access all your free credit reports through annualcreditreport.com or get your reports directly from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. You want your credit reports from each of the 3 major reporting agencies because each one can contain different information that impacts your scores. You rarely know ahead of time which agency's report a lender will pull. Mortgage lenders are generally going to pull a tri-merge, which is all 3 of them. What you see on your credit reports, your reports contain basic details about your name, birth date, address. Very important to review this information to be sure it is accurate. It's okay if your past addresses are listed. Reports also show any financial legal issues you have, such as bankruptcies, liens, judgments, or wage garnishments. If one of these issues is bringing your score down, take comfort in knowing these negative items eventually age off of your report. They don't stay there forever. Beyond that is creditor information, which makes up most of your reports. This includes different accounts you have, loans, credit cards, etc., and their status, open, closed, in collection, balances, credit limits, and payment details. It can also include dates of missed payments or late payments and when the accounts were sent to collections. It's this information that's used to determine your credit scores, which are broken down into 5 major areas. Payment history is 35% of your FICO score and includes your history of repaying accounts. Credit utilization, which is 30% of your score, and shows how much debt you carry in relation to your credit limit. That's the one that I'm talking to you about all the time. how it's very simple to manipulate that data simply by going in and making the majority of your payment before the statement closing date. That way it's reported as being low, and that way your utilization rate is as low as possible. Length of credit history or credit age, 15% of your score, shows how long you've had credit accounts. Types of credit, 10%. Credit inquiries, 10%. So remember that, again, payment history and utilization, that's 65%. And you've got to keep all of your accounts open and active. So that's why I told you earlier, you've got 4 different basic utilities. You've got your cell phone, gas, electric, and internet or cable. Get a credit card for each one of those, a separate card for each one. Put those on auto pay so you're never late with your utilities or those bills. And then set it up for an auto pay from your bank to pay before the statement closing date. So that arrives there before the statement closing date. And you'll be sure to maximize your credit score and keep all of those accounts open as long as you possibly can. Fix any errors on your credit report. Do not push that button that says dispute on the credit report if you go online. Don't do that. That's just something that allows the bureaus to, in my opinion, dupe you a little bit and take the easy way out of not really fixing your report. Don't do it that way. Talk to our friend Jeff Sipes. He'll help you do it the right way. Maintain healthy credit accounts. Payment history, the most important factor in your FICO credit score, and accounts for 35% of most scores. VantageScore does not provide percentages, but the percentages used are likely similar to FICO's. Again, that's why we call it a FACO score. Understanding what the time frame is that things stay on your report is another big issue. Late payments, 7 years from the late payment date. Foreclosures, 7 years. Collection accounts, 7 years and 180 days from the date of delinquency on the original debt. Sometimes you're going to get collectors that'll re-age that. That is an error on your report that should be corrected. Just giving you some little tips right there, because your credit matters. That is the Your Credit Matters segment. Again, brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. CreditSanitizer.com. Credit Sanitizer, they've got the solutions for you. As always, I ask you, set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Lights go out and I can be seen.